Hey guys, it's Sunday night. It's Doug and
Terrace Films.
and welcome to Coffee and a Chat, episode 20. And tonight's show we are discussing something that's kind of been bandying about in the news lately: vaccination passports. Now, the idea that you will have to have an additional document to carry with you to actually prove that you have received your dual dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, so you could be allowed, so you can travel, so you can go into some sporting events, concert venues, restaurants, because this is kind of on the horizon, I think.
Oh, a lot of places are already doing it.
So we're going to discuss between us what we think about the idea of a vaccination passport, and we're going to put it out to you guys. What do you think of the idea of a vaccination passport? Because this could be our new normal. Like, we're going to have to carry this. Like when we were kids, we had to have our vaccination records.
Yep. Well, because here, I think it's the same with a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like kids couldn't, it's still the same today. Kids couldn't even go to school unless you're immunized. So you had vaccines against measles and like smallpox, stuff like that. So that's kind of the same idea that they're thinking of with this. And I know there's a lot of places already doing it, like Quebec. I believe it's already, I'm not sure if they're doing it yet or they're waiting to September, but they're looking at vaccination passports. So like to do anything, like I think for kids to go to school, well, those that can get vaccinated, because under 12 still can't yet. But like for restaurants or things like that, I know countries as a whole are doing it. So even to go there, you have to prove you're fully vaccinated. So, and I know like prime ministers and presidents and stuff, like they're working on how to do that between countries so that like so they all can accept it, kind of thing, like a one almost universal way of doing that.
Yeah, so like a one document to fit everybody, kind of.
Yeah, like a probably more digital than anything, because right now you guys might have had it, but here we're getting like a paper, like a kind of a receipt type thing from when you get your vaccination, saying you had the full dose, so like full 2 doses, and then what it is, which vaccination you had, and who administered it, all that kind of stuff. So I know each province, each state, each country are doing it differently, but
that's true.
A lot of them are giving that kind of receipt kind of thing. But I think what they want to try to do, because they're saying, at least here, that they think it could be forged. And we are seeing that there are travelers forging these documents.
That is true.
And they've been found out later to have not actually been vaccinated. They forged these documents.
And there's a heavy penalty for that.
Yeah, they're fine. At least here, we've heard of a few that have actually forged documents coming here. Now, our border's technically not officially open yet. I think it's tomorrow it is, to the States. So for fully vaccinated, not to the rest of the world yet, just in the States. So for like non-essential purposes, where they could come from, like I said, like you worked here, you had family here for compassionate grounds, that kind of thing, or property here kind of thing. But now it's going to be like to tourists. I know it's not the reverse going the other way to the States. So at least not yet. Because technically the border closure, it would have extended to August 21st. So it rolled over every month. But from what we're hearing, President Biden is saying that he'd like to open the borders at the same time as he can open it with Mexico. And I guess there's a problem at the Mexico border with either refugees or they're having an increase in numbers or something. So I don't think they want to open the border yet with Mexico. So, and he doesn't want to open the northern border yet until they can open the southern border. That's what we're hearing anyway.
Okay.
But I know they're in talks about having even a passport in between even Canada and States and other countries. Like our border is supposed to be open to Europe, I believe, or everybody else who's fully vaccinated in September. Now, of course, I could change because I know there's a lot of increase in cases around the world. So, like a lot of we've been talking about this. Japan is seeing an increase in cases. States is we are. Actually, quite a few countries are. Even countries that were doing very well, like Vietnam, is seeing an increase.
Yeah, so everyone's kind of had an uptick.
But they've been talking about these vaccine passports. Now, our province, which is Ontario, our premier Ford has said, nope, we're not doing that here.
Nope, it's off the table.
You know, he's not. I don't think he's preventing. Like, I know some states actually banned businesses from not enforcing, like saying, proving that you have to be vaccinated to come in. Where I don't think he's going that far. Like, so if a business wants to, there are a couple restaurants doing it here that they want.
That's true.
It's more on the honor system. They're not actually asking for it, but not yet anyway. But I don't think they're going to ban that. You know, so if businesses wanted you to show proof of vaccination, probably digital, that's okay. But they don't want to mandate a province-wide one. And apparently they are potentially working on one for if international travel. And Trudeau has said he's leaving it up to the provinces to do whatever they want to do with that. So at this point,
they're actually telling U.S. non-essential that they have to download
ArriveCan, I think it's called.
The ArriveCan app they have to be able to show this app, and it has to have their information saying, yes, we've had the dual dose. Right. This is what it was. So in a sense, it's kind of like you were saying, that's a digital.
But that's for travelers. That's fully vaccinated travelers here.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not going the other way just yet. But but they were thinking that if there was such a thing as, say, a vaccination passport just for within our own province or city or whatever, that'd be better if it was digital, like the ArriveCan.
Well, I guess I can see the benefits of it, because then there would be no doubt.
That they're vaccinated, because it would actually come from the province or state that you were vaccinated.
And then it would help with contact tracing. You can because maybe they have to scan it to say, okay, this person was here. Where in some places it's pretty much contact tracing is still on the honor system, or
it's pretty hit and miss.
It's pretty hit and miss.
At least here, they're supposed to be doing it. Like restaurants are supposed to be doing it, but a lot of them are not doing it. We've been to a few. I know a lot of people aren't comfortable yet going to restaurants. We've gone to a few because they've been doing very well. They've been they're very safe what they're doing. At least the ones we've been to. So, but they're not actually doing contact tracings that we've seen. So they're supposed to be doing it here. Now, not all provinces are requiring it. So but they are here, but a lot of them are not doing it. So
I can see with the benefits of an app like this.
Well, the thing is, how would they scan it? They'd need a scanner.
Well,
to get that.
It could be something like an aspect of like the pads, they have a QR scanner pad that
they would have to connect to some kind of an app to say, yes, this is, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be like their normal QR scanners.
No.
It would have to be like a phone or something that would bring it up.
So it could be an app that you and I are going to an Italian restaurant.
Right.
We call up the app. They scan the QR code for our information.
Yeah.
It feeds to their documentation. Okay, it says we're fine.
Yeah.
And they catalog it.
See, that would be, I think, okay, maybe in a retail setting. Like if they've got a scanner that's connected to the internet or that could connect to like the app or whatever, that sort of thing on their computer screen. But see, a lot of restaurants don't have that. Maybe they do, like for when they order things or whatnot, but maybe not all businesses have that. So, I mean, that would be potentially an expense for them if it's digital. You know, I mean, like that. I mean, not to say that I don't agree. Like, it's a good idea so that we don't get shut down again. And I mean, that's really why they want to do it, is so that businesses don't have to shut down again because cases are rising again.
That's true.
So they don't necessarily want to go into the forced shutdown for us, you know, again. And I mean, the last time it was like 8-9 months.
Yeah.
They were pretty much shut down. I mean, that granted, we could do pick up delivery.
Yeah.
But a lot of, you know, I mean,
we lost a lot of businesses because of the law.
And plus the fact of, like, one of our other blogs, we talked about the fact that you can even buy some things in some stores because the bigger store or smaller stores couldn't sell them.
Exactly.
But, you know, so we don't really want to get to that again, you know. And I mean, what's interesting is here in Ontario and Canada as a whole have actually very high vaccination rates.
Yes.
Now, we start off really slowly, but now we're one of the highest vaccinated in the world. Like Ontario has 80.1% single dose,
which is phenomenal.
So we're at almost 10 million vaccinated, 14 million in Ontario. And then 74, I think, percentage fully vaccinated. So we've actually hit way past like HC and everything else. So what they wanted us to hit.
We surpassed our targets like
a long time ago.
A long time ago.
But there's still people who either cannot get vaccinated, don't want to get vaccinated, and of course there's the kids who can't get vaccinated yet. So
you know, so it's we're moving steadily along, but we're also kind of stalling a little.
Oh yeah, it's starting to drop off.
You know, so I think we need to have. Okay, I understand people's feelings about invasion of privacy.
Right.
You're cataloging us, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Let's go on down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole with the whole idea. But
or like a sense of control or that kind of thing. I know we've heard that. Like we've heard people say that's why some don't want the vaccine, or some wouldn't like this idea of the vaccine passport, because they're also saying it could be against their charter rights to be able to move freely and do things like go to a restaurant. Well, technically, that's not a right to go to a restaurant.
It's
actually a privilege.
That's a privilege.
So, and really, you could think of it that restaurant also has a right to protect them. So not all are going to require proof, but some that do, and that's technically their right to do so. So,
well, you know, and you want to say to some of these people that, you know, want to delve into this rabbit hole of silliness about governmental control. This is how they're, you know, handling us. The moment you have a health card, the moment you have a bank card,
or that they're tracking you,
that your government understands where you've been,
what your health records,
like how many times, say, you've been to the doctor, and for what, what you're purchasing.
Here in Canada, Canadians know this already. I know each province is a little different, but here we have a health card. So if you go to the doctor, they scan it. So that's how they get paid to do taxes, government taxes and stuff like that. Now everything is covered. I know that's kind of a misconception about Canada, that it's completely free, and it's not. A lot of things are. Doctor visits are.
Of course.
Things like that. You don't typically have to pay for hospital stays, like out of pocket taxes, like you would in the States. Most surgeries are included, except for those like that they don't necessarily deem essential. So
like cosmetic,
you know, things like that. You actually have to pay for. So medications you pay for here. They typically are a little bit cheaper in the States, and I know there's a lot of seniors who live at the border who will come across because it's a little cheaper for them here. Because there's plans for that. But and I mean, we do have insurance, like the States do too, like medical insurance to help pay for other stuff. Dental is not free here, very expensive. unless you have like insurance and stuff to pay for, like through your job and stuff. But
like my job, we're both covered under mine.
You still pay extra. That's like insurance only covers so much, you know. But that's kind of the point with these health cards is the government already knows here anyway. What your medical record, if they really want to look for it, they could. So,
you know, and you have to think every time you scan that mag strip, slide it through the reader.
It's registered.
It's registered.
Yeah.
So if you're okay to do this,
we kind of have to do on healthcare.
But you know, this is
you have to.
But this is what I'm saying. It's a necessary way of life. You're okay to do this. You're okay to scan your bank card.
Right.
You know,
it's another way they can track.
Oh, another way they can track you financially.
Track your cell phone too.
Your cell phone. You know.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of ways, and it's just we're part of the digital society now. And if you're okay with these means to do your day-to-day life, why in the interim, in this period where we're trying to get back to full normalcy, where they're saying, okay, this will only be for a short time, maybe.
Like the vaccine passports, you mean?
Yeah, the passports. So you've done all this before. What's one more card or one more thing to have?
It'd probably be an app, but it's supposed to have smartphones now. But also, it's just for this, not just the COVID-19, because I know there's a lot of reasons why people don't necessarily want the actual vaccine, but just with the passports, even a lot of times if you go to another country, not necessarily between Canada and the States, but like say you go to Brazil or you go to Asia or Indonesia or something, you have to get immunized to go there.
Oh yeah.
And you have to provide proof you've been immunized. So in a way, that's also a vaccine passport. So and they will not let you in because you had to get vaccinated for yellow fever when you went to.
When I traveled to Brazil in 1989,
And I mean, and it's the same with us. I think if you come from countries where those kind of illnesses are prevalent, you know, you have to be vaccinated for them before you come here. Same with the States, same with, I think, a lot of places in Europe. So, I mean, in that sense, it's really not any different than that. And a lot of travelers are okay with that just to prove that they're safe, you know, healthy, that they can go there and hopefully not catch any of these illnesses that are, you know, there kind of thing that are not our home countries. So in that sense, it's kind of the same idea with these international vaccine passports.
So I think we need to I think everyone needs to kind of unclench over this, because everyone's making it into something that it really isn't.
Not really, no.
It's a means that it's a digital means of saying, yes, I've had it done. I'm good.
Right.
Like when we were kids, we had a little immunization
yellow
book.
Card. Yeah. It's because we were vaccinated. Yeah.
Maybe what, about the size of your thumb?
And, it's like a little card that folded out.
And they would just mark off, okay, little Dougie
had, and when you had it.
Yeah. So
they still do that to this day.
And this is part and parcel of normal life, like for kids, whatever. Now, because every Yahoo's got a smartphone, you know, let's take the little yellow card and digitize that sucker.
It's digitized now,
and you know, it's an easy app to pull up, click, you know, show it, go on.
It, that kind of thing. I mean, again, like, vaccines are not mandatory here. I don't think they are anywhere. I'm not sure if any country is making it mandatory, not that I've heard of, but I don't think.
No.
But that's kind of why they want to do this, because not everyone is going to get it. You're not being forced to get it.
No.
Because again, some people cannot get it. Some just don't want to get it. It's either whatever reason they don't want it. And of course, we know under 12 can't get it yet. So, but the businesses, and there's a lot of them, especially a lot of the outbreaks have been in workplaces. So,
like Amazon.
And I'm not sure if Walmart might have too, like the warehouse. Most of the warehouses have had outbreaks. So I know Google is mandating them vaccines. I think Amazon warehouses are.
And I believe Canada Post.
I think Canada Post is with their workers too. And actually even here, health workers are not, it's not mandatory that they get them. So nurses, doctors, they don't actually have to get them. But I know a lot of the associations are trying to get them to be mandatory.
Exactly.
Because they are dealing
yes.
with patients, and they are dealing actually with COVID patients, and they're dealing with like other people who are vulnerable, who are sick. So
and
they want them to actually have to have it.
And there's also been a push for like people in the education industry, education workers.
Because again, they're working with kids who cannot get vaccinated right now.
So that's, speaking personally, that's why when it was offered, I took it because where I work, the children are under 12. Most of them are under 12, and they can't be vaccinated. So it behooved me to make sure I was vaccinated because one, it protects me, protects her, because
anybody else
and anyone else, you know. So there's been pushes to get it mandatory in certain sectors,
right?
And I think it should be mandatory in certain sectors,
especially health, of
course,
and probably education too, because maybe the high school, it's a bit of a gray area there, just because older kids, like teenagers, can get vaccinated, but like 12 and under can't right now. So, and no, for the most part, they don't tend to get seriously ill, although I've been hearing that some of them have actually gotten pretty ill. Young kids have.
So it's like
as like the illness mutates and stuff. So
it behooves us as adults and education workers, digital workers, etc., to take the steps necessary to protect ourselves.
Right.
You know, it's just good common sense, really. But and in that vein of good common sense, I think that's why the digital
vaccine passport, digital or not,
you know, old school or new school version of it.
Yeah.
But I think it should be a necessary thing.
Well, because I think where the problem with it being purely digital might fall is not all seniors have smartphones, so they would actually have to have it in paper form.
Yeah.
Now there are some seniors who actually have smartphones, but
yes,
you know,
yes, they do.
The problem is some countries don't have the same technologies as other countries either. So, you know, I mean, what do you do there? We probably have to pay for that as well. I mean, most countries have smartphones, but there's some of them are a little bit behind. The technology's not as fast, or whatever the case is. So
okay, so let's pose this question to you guys up there. Where do you fall on the idea of vaccination passports? Are you for saying it's a good idea, it's a way for us to be able to prove that we've actually been vaccinated, that we can enjoy concerts, sporting events?
Well, because I know New York City, I believe, is mandating it. From what I understand, there's a lot of concerts, things like that, where you have to show proof of vaccination. Like one of the first places I heard of was Bruce Springsteen's show on Broadway, and Broadway is actually mandating it, that you have to have a vaccine passport, or you have to be fully vaccinated. And as Stephen Colbert shows, the same thing. And I think, I believe even now that the Yankees are back, I believe you have to be fully vaccinated to go see a game, or they have, I don't know if that's changed, but I know they did have separate sections, I believe, for the fully vaccinated and then those who are not vaccinated or something. But I'm pretty sure, I think New York is mandating it now, that you have to have proof of vaccination or something to do some stuff.
Well, look,
and I know other places are following, so like I said, Quebec is doing that too.
Garth Brooks recently has a concert coming up.
Yes.
And he has asked, he's requiring anyone who wishes to attend, you must be vaccinated.
Yeah.
And wear a mask.
Right. Well, that's another thing too, is there are actually Ontario's never dropped the mask mandate here. We're pretty much open. Like pretty much everything's open here now.
Yeah.
Except you still have to wear a mask and like the physical distancing thing. But I know out west, BC and Alberta had pretty much dropped all of the mandates. So like no masks or anything. And now they're seeing an uptick again in cases. We are too, but like I think there's just a little higher. And now they're re-implementing mask mandates and stuff. So we never actually dropped ours.
No.
And they actually said that even when everything's pretty much everything back to normal, really, like schools and everything, that probably the one thing they keep in place is masks. So they're even talking about even till next spring. So
this is
but they won't implement a vaccine passport because I think his stance is kind of like what some people said. It's a choice because it's not mandatory to get vaccinated. So it should be like a choice whether or not they like want to have that proof. Like he didn't want to kind of have how he put it is he didn't want a province divided to more or less the have-nots kind of thing. So those who had the vaccination, they can do things because they'll have proof that they've been vaccinated, and those who have not are going to be seriously limited if they have this.
Well,
however, if you're allowing businesses to decide, they may decide they don't want anybody who's not vaccinated there. So in a way,
you're creating that have-not.
There still could be that in society anyway, even if you don't mandate a vaccine passport here. Which I don't know. I have a feeling they will. I have a feeling they will because businesses are actually pushing for it.
Yeah.
So
I think
we'll see.
I think, like I said, personally myself, my feeling on this is I think it's going to be a necessary evil. We're going to have to deal with that aspect.
Because people want to, which I completely agree with, want to get on with their lives.
Of course.
We want to be in lockdown. We want to be able to do things. We want business to be open. We want business to make money.
We want to live.
Kind of thing. And if this is the only way we can do it, you know, safely so that we're not shut down again for months on end, well, you know, I mean, like how I thought of it, I don't know if this is how you think of it, you know, I think if you don't want to get vaccinated, it's your choice.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of your reason why, you know, it's your choice kind of thing.
Course.
You chose to get it. That sort of thing. But with the vaccines, it's also, I think, businesses' choices, schools, even hospitals, all that kind of thing.
Exactly.
If they want to protect themselves, I think they should also have that right to do so.
Of course.
So, and I mean, not all businesses will. Some businesses are fine with no masks. Some businesses are like, you know, that states. Some here, they're a little less free about it here. Maybe out west, they're a little bit more.
Yeah, Ontario's still very stringent.
A little bit more, which is funny because right now it's conservative province. It's kind of interesting that way. Like Alberta's conservative province, but Ontario's more pro-mask and pro-vaccine than Alberta is. Alberta's kind of anti, not completely anti, like, but you know, they're less for it. Kind of
Alberta kind of made the decision of like, kind of like Britain did. You make your own decision about it. If you choose to wear it, wear it. If you don't,
Britain kind of reversed their stance on that. They kind of went back on that. But yeah, like some states have, like, it's more of a, you want to wear, it's like your choice kind of thing. You want to wear it, go ahead. If you don't, that's your choice kind of thing. But I don't think they went as far as some states that banned businesses from actually showing proof of vaccination or whatever. Because I think they think it's like, it's up to them. It's the business wants to do it, let them do it. If they don't want to do it, that's fine too.
You know,
which is, you know, it should be, if they want to do it, they should be able to do it. So,
where do you
stand on the vaccine passports?
Where do you stand on them?
I think they're a good idea because I think you can use them anywhere if you want to travel.
That's it.
Yeah, really. I mean, I know they are because I know the States is implementing it for international travelers. It makes sense. You want to protect your people. I know Canada's doing the same, but like they already are. I mean, you have to show proof of vaccination if you want to come here. I know other countries are doing it, so I can see it on a bigger scale.
Of course,
it makes sense to do that. I mean, it makes sense because you want to protect. Not all countries are well vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially African countries and a lot of Asian countries are not that well vaccinated. So if you have to travel there for whatever reason, it's a risk kind of thing to go there. Just like any other vaccine that you need to take to travel.
You know.
So for businesses like within ours, I know a lot of people are safe if businesses only let in vaccinated, or venues did, like baseball games or concerts or whatever, or they separated them, kind of thing. Now, I know a lot of people argue saying, well, if you're vaccinated, you're safe, and what are you worried about, kind of thing. Well, you can still get it if you're vaccinated. It just shouldn't be as bad.
No.
That's what they're saying. It shouldn't be as bad, but you still can carry it, and you can still shed it. So it's not always just about us. This is how I think of it. I know other people have their own way of thinking of it. This is how I think of it. It's not necessarily me I'm worried about, kind of thing, getting it. It's, say, and most people we know, but we do know people in our family who are not vaccinated at this point. It's them you worry about, kind of thing, because they're not vaccinated. You don't want them to get sick. You don't want them to get a bad case of it, even if cancer, they'd be all right.
Yeah, you wouldn't want. Yeah,
you don't want that.
You don't want to wish that on anyone.
It's really more about that than anything else, kind of thing.
Of course.
So I think it's a good idea. I think if businesses feel they want to protect themselves and their customers for it, they should have to pass vaccine passports for that. You know, if businesses don't want to have it, go ahead. You know, it's your right, kind of thing, to do it, kind of thing. You know. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you guys have heard where we both stand on it.
Right. What do you think? What do you think? It should be mandatory they all have it, that everybody has it? Because that's kind of what they're thinking of doing anyway, is they think, and it kind of is working in some places, that if businesses implement this as a mandatory measure, so you can't get in unless you're vaccinated, and show proof of this, that you want to be able to do things, so you'll go get vaccinated. Well, and it's actually working in some places.
I agree with that. If it's gonna force you to have to step up. You want to go see that?
You could.
You want to go see that concert? You want to go see that Broadway show? Yeah. You want to go to the baseball game? Hey, guess what? If you get vaccinated, have the vaccination passport to show that, hey, I'm done, I'm good. Go on in. You can see these things. You can do these things.
Right.
So sometimes people need to be
forced,
given a hard shove to get it done.
Yeah.
In every aspect of life, really.
Yeah.
And now it's time to give another hard shove to get it done.
Yeah. At least maybe, I don't know. I guess I think, I know that's partially probably why they're doing it, is to try to coerce people into doing it, you know, or like you said, shoving them to do that kind of thing, even though it's not mandatory. It would be if you want to do some stuff, you know. Granted, again, not all businesses are requiring it, but more and more seem to be.
Okay, do bear in mind, we're not saying that the government is controlling you or physically demanding you go.
No, at least here it isn't mandated.
But it's more or less, it's kind of like they're showing you, okay,
this is what could happen, though.
Look at all these things over here.
Yeah.
You could
have access to.
You could have access to.
Yeah.
All you need to do is get 2 shots. That's it.
But see, that's kind of the difference between us and state like New York State or anybody else who's actually mandating, like Quebec is. We're not doing that. So, I mean, we'll make that clear for anybody who's watching from Ontario. That's not a mandate here, but it could be. Like, I can see it happening because he's changed his mind about things before it's been pushed to do it. It's more like businesses or the health, they call it the science table here, which all the experts kind of thing are saying it might be a good idea to do that. And they've actually polled a lot of businesses here, small businesses, and they actually would
they're
like
okay
it.
with
But
it.
rather, if it's a choice between lockdown and vaccine passports, that's what they want.
That's what they want, exactly.
So, you know, because they don't want to be locked down again.
So, like,
you know,
this, like we said, this could be the new future. You're going to have that
for now, anyway.
for now. Okay, my question is to you guys and out there in YouTube, where do you fall on this stance? Are you for? Are you against? Are you totally indifferent about it? Let us know in the comments. Tell us if you're against it, why are you against it?
Yeah.
If you're for it, why are you for it? Or if you're indifferent about it,
yeah,
why have you taken that indifferent stance? Because we'd like to see where everyone kind of falls on this,
right.
Because
we're finding actually a lot of people we talk to are kind of for it.
Yeah.
Especially if it means that they're not having to be locked down again.
Exactly.
So a lot of people are like, well, you know, if it prevents us from getting locked down or business being having shut permanently, they'll, you know, they're okay with it.
Well, that's it.
You know, kind of things to protect businesses, protect jobs, and so some that kind of thing. You know, and I know there are a lot of people who are very adamant against it. You know,
so
and, you know, I mean, that's how it is. You know,
and so that's why we'd like to know where your stance is, because it's always interesting to see what other people's view on this is. How do you view this through your lens? And you know, tell us why. Because
and is it actually mandated?
Is it mandated in your state or your province?
Because, like, I know it's not all provinces here, and actually, I think at the moment it's only one. So at the moment, I know at least one state is doing it, but I'm not sure. There might be more. I'd have to look at if that's true. So, and I mean, I think even a lot of countries as a whole are doing it.
Yes.
So
like our friends from other countries, our friends from the U.S., if it's mandated in your state, how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Same idea, like same question. Are you for? Are you against? Are you like, well, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Let us know, because.
You're getting acid.
Oh, hold on.
Not to talk about it. No, I don't think it's going to go away. I think it's probably going to be what they call endemic. So I think eventually we're going to have to learn to live with it. And I guess it's one way. I hope it's not going to be always masked. I think eventually we won't need to do it. I know here they're talking about the fact that we may have to be masked up till next spring here. So whether or not that's the case, I don't know. Because like we were just talking about that our vaccination rate's very high here, you know, but there's still people who can't get vaccinated. So
it's there's the crux of it. Like how do we move forward with it? Do we just accept the fact that this is how it is? This is what's coming. There's just whispers of this coming. Are you ready for that? Because I'm more than willing to have that, to carry it, because I have people that I haven't seen in like a year.
Right.
To be able to go and say, hey, okay, I can get on a bus, a train, whatever, and show that and prove that, you know, that's important for me. That's important for us to be able to say if we want to travel outside of our city and go somewhere else. Or
even outside the country.
Outside of the country, exactly.
We were talking about a lot of countries are going to require it just to even get through the border security. We are one. Like, you actually have to show proof of vaccination to come here even. So, you know. And a lot of borders are actually still closed.
My mother had to get the vaccine. So she wouldn't have to wear a mask at work. Now
wow.
Wear a mask again, and only the servers at her work, not the people in the kitchen.
That's interesting why they wouldn't want them in the kitchen to wear it.
Whereabouts are you, Ray?
Is she in a restaurant or?
That I would think in any sort of food service, really.
They are here. They have to here.
They have to here. Again,
you know, every state, every province now they're doing things differently. So.
That's it.
And I think it's a bit of a hodgepodge, actually, even across the country. Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I know for myself, I'm a custodian outside of this. We're expected, even when we work together, we are to remain masked. The only time that we can remove the masks is if we eat, drink, that's it, or when we're leaving the building.
Right.
But while we're there for the 8 hours that we're working together, we have to be masked the entire time.
And they're not even supposed to, like, they break and have food. But technically, they're supposed to be in the same room together. That's how they're doing it here.
Oh, she's in a big chain restaurant. Oh, wow, yeah. Really? Yeah. That's surprising, but you know, we've heard different stories about chains doing certain rules
differently. Yes.
We've actually had some big chains here had bylaw officers go in to and fine them for not adhering to COVID protocol.
Right. Because, like, you're talking about no masks, or like even in the kitchen or servers, or even here, customers even going in have to wear masks till they sit down, then you can take it off and eat. Yep. And some of the restaurants were not following that, so
they were
getting fined because you know people, they have the, I guess we could call a snitch line, but you could call if you knew that about different businesses, restaurants or retail or anything. If they were operating outside of what they were supposed to be doing, you could call, and they would have bylaw officers, or they were doing like blitzes, and they were going around and checking all these different like different neighborhoods, and they go into different restaurants and all that, make sure they're following the bylaws. You know, so if you got fined for it.
Yeah. Okay. In Wisconsin, do they have the vaccination passport? And if they do, what do you feel about it, or what is your opinion on that?
No. Do they still have like a mask mandate right across the sounds like? Or is it just the restaurant themselves who do? Because that's the same thing here. It's the whole area is mandated, you have to, but I know not all places have that.
No, that's true.
It's the businesses that are saying whether or not they want you to have it or not.
You know, and another question: how does your mother feel about that? You know, how does she feel by the fact of she's required to wear it, for the folks in the kitchen,
which is interesting.
I
get that it would be hot in the kitchen.
For sure.
I get that it would be hot in the kitchen, but you know, it's not necessarily safe for the kitchen workers or the servers, really.
No. You would think the transmission of any sort of bacteria would be more prevalent in a kitchen area because sweat and everything, and you know, so I'm a little surprised, but not really. You know?
Like I said, there's here too. We've heard of it, so.
But Ray, thank you for your comment. You know, thank you for touching base with us and letting us know about Wisconsin.
Because we've only really heard of a handful of places.
You know,
like obviously we've heard about different places in Canada, but we've only heard a few places in the States of what's going on. We try to find out as much as we can, you know, because it's interesting, like, to know what everybody's doing, and
because we're such a global community, and it has affected us globally in such a
it's affected the entire world,
monumental way.
Yeah.
So it's good. What we're doing here is like to talk to folks like yourselves, find out what you're doing. You know, we get the news, but to actually talk to people.
Well, who it's affecting. I mean, it affects everybody. I mean, it affected us. I'm sure it affected you. You know, and I mean, some harder than others, just because like they've lost businesses or jobs. You know, because like we were just talking about earlier, we were in like an 8 to 9 month lockdown.
Yes.
You know, so a lot of businesses no longer here. Like even in our area, we counted about 20 businesses not far from us that are gone. So just because they couldn't open for months.
they haven't started a mandatory for masks yet, and my mother feels upset.
Yes, I understand that.
Of course.
She never wanted the vaccine, but did it because she had to, yeah.
You see, and
that's interesting, like that it was mandated that she got it, because we always heard that
there was a choice. It was a choice.
That it was a choice.
You know.
Maybe the restaurant, I know they were talking about at least here healthcare. They want to, and education workers, they want to actually have it.
Thank you for sharing that, because that's something that, you know, we don't hear in the news, like in the news here in Canada. We get kind of a very watered down.
Well, I think you do with any. I mean,
anywhere,
you really have to search. You really do have to search.
And to actually hear something like that, you know, thank you very much.
To hear the personal stories.
Yeah, to hear the personal story.
You know, you're only hearing like a bigger, wider scale of what's a state doing, or what's, and it's usually the bigger states kind of thing, of the, you know, that kind of, same with here, you know.
What about yourself, where you're employed? Have they made it mandatory that you have to be vaccinated? Or do they have a mandatory mask policy for yourself?
Yes, we have heard there's some of the bigger companies are mandating vaccines. Like we were talking about this earlier, like Google, I think is, Amazon, I believe is. I think there's somewhere, I cannot think of it at the moment, but it's interesting because it's not here anyway. It's not provincially mandated. So, but I know it's up to the business. They're leaving it up to the individual businesses whether or not they want to implement that or not.
That's true. So is it like that in your state? Is it like that?
Well, because I just find it interesting that the state would do that, because like some people would argue it's against kind of their own, you know, health choices or whatever. I mean, you know, like some people cannot get vaccinated, so then what happens? Do they not work? Can they show proof that they can't get vaccinated from the doctor, maybe, or something?
What I think, maybe? I believe what I've heard here is that if you choose not to be vaccinated, you have to, you need to go and be tested. Yes. If you can't or you won't be vaccinated, you have to be tested, I think, daily or something. And you have to be able to show 2 consecutive negative tests. Yes. I think that there are some places that are doing that. I believe Quebec is. So they're not forcing you to get vaccinated, but you have to show a negative test, like almost daily there. So at your job, they took away the mask rule because we socially distance far enough from each other and don't have customers inside, but we also don't have many employees in our warehouse. Oh, okay. Are you comfortable with that? Are you, okay, you're socially distancing, that's great, but are you comfortable with them removing the mask mandate? You know, it's one extra step for your protection. And you guys aren't being mandated to get the vaccine where you work. It sounds like. Well, yeah. Yeah. So, so it's kind of a. It's just interesting to see what even area, even within your own country, who's doing differently, you know. And because it's kind of a hot topic, really. It is. Oh yeah. You know, and to hear like the opposite side of the story, the kind of thing of what's going on, say, Wisconsin. Right. We spoke to someone in the previous episode from California. Yeah. So it's interesting to us on our show to get these extra little tidbits of information. Yeah. Because then you really know how things affect real people. Of course, yeah. And that's important to understand, because we're given big numbers and broad spectrum kind of analysis, but to actually talk to, say, Raymond from Wisconsin or Joe from California or whoever, it makes it more real.
Yeah.
And that is something that is really important. You know,
because I mean, like we said, we do get most, obviously, like you guys, most of our news is more local than anything else. So what we do know about international or even Canada-wide kind of thing is we will look it up for other news things, or we'll talk to people from those areas and to find out what's happening there. Of course. You know, so
he says, my boss hasn't been pressured to force us to have to get it yet. I suppose LOL, it could happen at some point.
You're right, yes.
But
yeah, that's true.
It's so true.
That's what we were saying here is it's not mandatory yet here, kind of thing. A lot of people are getting it here, but it's not, they're not forcing them to. I know some businesses are actually, I'm not sure if it's like Google and Amazon, it's here they're being forced to, or if it's in the States. It might be like both. We have warehouses here too, headquarters here, so it might be right across the board. But I know our healthcare, they're not being mandated to. Education workers are not, which you might think they would start actually dealing with patients and stuff. But I know a lot of them want it to be mandatory here. Yeah. Because they're dealing with patients, especially healthcare.
He says, I'm glad I found you guys, though. I was just looking through YouTube using the live filter.
We're glad you found it.
We're glad you tuned in, you know, and we welcome you to join the Coffee and Chat family because, you know, that's one thing that's going to always happen here. It's going to be straight conversation, no finger pointing, no agenda, nothing. Just conversations, you know, like you would with friends at a coffee shop.
Because like we've known people who've gotten the vaccine, you know, people who haven't, who don't want it, for different reasons, you know, and like it's your choice, you know, you want it, get it, you don't get it.
Exactly. It's you know, it's not my place to point a finger at somebody because of the choices they make.
Right.
It's up to me to be more understanding, to understand why they made the choice that they made, and to be able to have a discourse where we can actually talk and share those ideas.
Yeah.
You know, like I have an individual that works with me, which Four Towers has heard about, and they kind of went back and forth about getting the vaccine.
Oh, yes.
I still don't know if this individual has made the decision, but
well, they kind of flip-flopped because for a long time they didn't want to get it because of whatever the reason was, and then they kind of did some research and stuff, and talked to you, and then they got booked an appointment to get it, and then they changed their mind again. So I mean, I actually understand that. I can see why, you know, some are hesitant and stuff. So we don't know if they're getting it or not, but
I do want the world to heal from this.
Yeah.
This is a huge point in history.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's perfected. I'll take it. So you haven't gotten it yet. Okay.
And
we
that's fine. That's fine.
The same reason.
And you know, that's fine. And I totally agree. We need to heal from this. And
you're right. It's a huge point in history.
This is a huge point in history. And it's taught us a number of things. How disconnected we are from our fellow man.
True.
But also how we can reconnect to our fellow man.
Yeah.
You know, how presenting a platform like this.
Right. Just to chat about it without people saying, oh, you're crazy, you don't want it. You know, or, oh, you're crazy, you got it, or whatever.
And that's why we started this show, is to take agenda off the table.
Yeah.
To be able to say, hey, let's talk.
Let's just talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
To understand why.
Why?
You know, why did you feel like you wanted to get it or got it?
And why
do you feel you don't want to get it? I mean, I obviously accept, you know, people who haven't got it, basically like you said.
Yeah.
Because there are new vaccines.
Exactly.
You know, there's of course the long-term effects are not known. yet. No. And I mean, let's be honest, they are not. No, of course not. You know, I mean, yes, I know a lot of people bring up like the measles and smallpox, and everybody's okay with them. Of course, they have a longer term, like to be perfected and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I understand that. I mean, I've told my friends who haven't got it, and people in our family haven't got it. Some of them haven't, and we're like, you know, we understand it, we get it, kind of thing. Why there are people who don't want to take it, and they're waiting to see how is it? Is it actually bringing the numbers down? Are people actually getting sick or having bad side effects or whatever from it? Like I said, you know, we did get it just because of who we know, and the kind of jobs. So just for that kind of protection, you know, of course it's a risk. It's a risk either way. So, but we're just thinking, you know, if that was the choice kind of thing. But you know, we're not going to say, oh, you're crazy if you don't get it, kind of thing. You know,
that doesn't that creates a negative environment, and that's not what we're about. And
well, no, of course not.
And
you know,
I think if we had more opportunities to sit down and actually talk with people and you know, hear where they're coming from, to hear their feelings on things like vaccine, the
or even the vaccine passports.
The vaccine passports, like we were discussing
like
tonight.
We were saying, that's not mandatory here yet either. No. And so far, Premier is not going to mandate it. He's the kind of flip flops a little bit.
Yeah.
So he might change his mind, and I know he's kind of getting pressure to do so from like a lot, surprisingly, from businesses.
That's true.
He's actually getting pressure from businesses.
Of course.
Our province tend to be locked down a lot, so, and they don't want to be locked down again. So if it's choice between that and being locked down, they'll take the passport. I think a lot of people here would. We don't want to be locked down again.
No. You know, it's the idea of you've kept me at home for 8-9 months. If this is what I have to do to be able to go out and actually have some semblance of a normal life, let me have it. Let's get it done. Let's do it.
Well, because even the tourism industry is hurting.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like you probably heard, our borders opening.
Yes.
To American fully vaccinated tomorrow, and so they'd be coming in, and you know, and I mean that's good for the tourism industry because they're hurting, but it's not being reciprocated back. And I mean that's a choice of the federal government. And I know, but there are a lot of places along the border and stuff there that are
like,
have been
come
saying,
on, open it up.
So because they're hurting too. And I mean, at the moment, I mean, I know people travel all around the world.
Of course.
And I know now, I believe Britain is opening up to American tourists. So not to us though, but to American tourists, and I think Europe. But primarily, like I believe New York State and Florida particularly, it's Canadians that are the biggest draw to them because we're the closest neighbors and stuff. And we have crappy winters, so usually, so, you know.
I tell you,
you know.
But you know, it's our new normal right now. Now, will it be forever? Remains to be seen.
Like, I don't know if it'll be forever. Like, I think, like, I agree with Ray that it's not going to go away. I think we will have to eventually learn to live with this, like, kind of like the flu. You know, maybe when more people get, like, either the vaccines or getting it, whatever, you get more of an immunity. You may not need these, like, masks and wolves anymore. Maybe, like, it's potentially this vaccine or the virus will mutate to the point where it's not going to be as lethal. It's potential that it could happen.
Yeah.
And so then maybe more like the flu. So even if people got it, they wouldn't necessarily get that sick from it. So even like the long haulers, like we talked about before, it's not just the deaths. I mean, the deaths on the whole of how many people got it are somewhat. Well, I mean, it's horrific that so many people have died from it, of course, but
it's a horrible loss of life.
You know, but I mean, I know a lot of people say, you know, like the death of this is actually fairly low. It is. I mean, if you think about how many people have gotten it, but in relation to the global, how many people live in the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not even just that, it's also the long haulers who've been suffering like a lot of really bad things from it. So maybe, who knows, like maybe that will lessen over time. I don't know. Or they'll figure out better ways to treat this over time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we'll always have to wear masks. I think just for now, I mean, like here at the Spanish flu, which was like 1918, it lasted 2 years. It lasted 22 months. I think it was 22. No, it was over 2 years. And I think it kind of just disappeared. It gradually died out. So because either so many people had it, or they learned how to kind of prevent it, or whatever they did. But you know, it might happen that way with this. But the problem is, this is global, so it makes it harder to get rid of. You know,
exactly.
Especially if you want to travel.
So, I'd like to thank Ray from Wisconsin for joining the conversation tonight.
Definitely.
And we hope that you will come back.
You'll come back
and discuss your views on any topic you want to discuss.
Whatever.
And whatever.
You can drop us a line. You want to talk about.
If there's something that is important to you guys and you want us to discuss it on air, hit the comment section.
We could do our research and find out more about it if it's something we haven't heard.
But so I guess we're gonna leave it at the fact of we're both on board for the vaccination passport.
Yeah.
Until we actually hear definites,
right.
We're just going to wait and see what happens.
Right.
But until then, we're going to just keep doing what we've been doing, living our lives, washing our hands, wearing our masks, everything they've told us to do for the past year and a bit.
18 months. Roughly.
So guys, if you enjoyed the conversation, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell over there. Perfect. Down here if you're on mobile.
Somewhere else.
And that will tell you whenever we go live on Sunday. And we hope that you guys will tune in and join the conversation with us again.
We hope you stay safe.
Please stay safe.
No matter your choice.
And
safe and healthy.
Have a fantastic week. Thank you for joining me on the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we will see you next Sunday.
Take care, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.